Good evening students, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today this is the second session of earthquake chapter. In the first session we have discussed some part related to this earthquake. Mainly some important topics were covered, like what is earthquake, the definition of earthquake, and the cause of earthquake, concept of seismic wave, and the different layers of earth. That was discussed in the previous session, and in this session we will cover the remaining part of this chapter. So let's start the session. So to study earthquake, we have to first know that what is the source of this earthquake. What is the main source of this earthquake? So its main source is known as focus. This is the main source of earthquake. It is also known as point of origin. Point of origin of earthquake. So what is focus? Focus is actually the source of an earthquake, which is known as the point of origin. So it is basically basically source of an earthquake. Source of an earthquake. Clear? And it is a point at which tension is released. When earthquake occurs, there is a tension. Now the question is, why earthquake occurs? Due to the movement of tectonic plates. Earthquake occurs, and the concept of tectonic plates and all those related information that was discussed in the previous lecture. So just go through the lecture and visit the first part of this lecture, and you will understand what is tectonic plates and how this tectonic plate moves and what is the cause of earthquake. The main reason is the movement of tectonic plates. That means when tectonic plate moves, there is a generation of seismic wave, or there is a generation of tension, and in this point, that is in focus, in which the tension is released. So focus is basically a source of an earthquake, or also it is known as point of origin of the earthquake. Clear? Now this focus is a point, and it is often deep below the surface of earth. Since it is deep below the surface of earth, it is very difficult to map. That means its location is very difficult to map. Clear? And mainly the location of this focus, or location of this point, is specified by a point on the surface of earth, directly above the focus. Its main point, or its main location, is specified by the point on the surface of earth, because the focus is deep below, inside the surface of earth. So it is very difficult to map, and its location is specified therefore by the point on the surface of earth, which is directly above the focus. And that point is known as mainly epicenter. That point on the surface of earth is known as epicenter. So what is epicenter? It is a point which on the earth's surface, which is directly above the focus. Epicenter is a point on the earth's surface which is directly above the focus, and with this epicenter the main focus of the earthquake is specified, because focus is mainly deep inside the earth, which is very difficult to find out. So to find out its origin, a point which is above the surface is mapped, which is known as epicenter. So what is epicenter? It is a point, epicenter, it is a point, on earth's surface, directly above the focus, It is a point on earth's surface directly above the focus. This is known as epicenter. And the maximum damage, the maximum destruction due to the earthquake usually occurs at this surrounding epicenter. That means closest to this epicenter. The maximum destruction, maximum damage due to earthquake usually occurs at the closest of this point. That means closest to epicenter. Clear? Now we know the cause of an earthquake. Why earthquake occurs? Due to the movement of tectonic plates. We all know that why earthquake occurs? Why there is an earthquake? Because of the movement of tectonic plates. That's why there is an earthquake. But however, when it comes for prediction, it is not a very easy task to predict an earthquake. That means when and where earthquake will occur, when and where the next earthquake will occur, it is not very easy. It is very difficult to predict. Clear? Therefore, how we can predict an earthquake? There is an instrument that scientists use, mainly geologists. Geologists are the scientists who actually deals with this type of incident, that means earthquake. They are called geologists. They actually deals with earthquake, and they have used an instrument to predict an earthquake. The instrument is known as seismometer. Or seismograph. The instrument is known as seismometer or seismograph. Seismometer, or it is also termed as seismograph. It is an instrument by which we can predict an earthquake, because prediction of earthquake is not easy, but somehow or somewhat we can predict a little bit, and an instrument is therefore used, is known as seismograph or seismometer. It is an instrument to predict an earthquake. Clear? It is used actually to find out the source of seismic wave. That means from where the seismic wave generates. It is used to find out the source of seismic wave, and therefore it is used to predict an earthquake. Now, how this seismograph or seismometer actually works? It actually find out the source of seismic wave, and the seismograph or seismometer detects the shock waves. It actually detects the shock waves or seismic wave produced by the earthquake. When earthquake occurs, there is a generation of seismic wave or shock wave, and seismograph detects that shock wave or seismic wave produced by the earthquake, and also records those shock waves on a graph paper. Clear? And the trace of this graph paper records the earthquake. The trace on this graph paper actually records the earthquake. The seismograph record is also known as seismogram. The seismograph record is also known as seismogram. Now, what is seismogram? It is actually the record of seismograph. It actually the record of seismograph. Record of seismograph or seismometer. Clear? That's how seismometer or seismograph works. It actually find out the source of seismic wave, or it detects the shock wave which is produced by an earthquake, and then the seismograph records those shock waves on a paper in the form of a graph, that means in a graph paper, and the trace on the graph paper records the earthquake, how much intensity of that earthquake. Clear? And the record is also known as seismograph. The record is also known as seismogram. The record is known as seismogram. Clear? Next, so after focus, epicenter, seismometer, seismograph, there is a term that is Richter scale. Richter scale. With this scale, we can also find out the intensity of earthquake or magnitude of earthquake. The magnitude or intensity of an earthquake is expressed by this scale. So it is a scale which is used to express magnitude or intensity of an earthquake, the level of earthquake. So it is a scale. It is a scale used to express the magnitude or intensity of an earthquake. It is a scale used to express the magnitude or intensity of an earthquake. The Richter scale actually is a series of numbers. This scale is actually a series of numbers starting from 1 to 12. It is a series of numbers. Richter scale comprises of a series of numbers starting from 1 to 12, and it is used to express the magnitude of an earthquake. Clear? Generally considered magnitude of 8.0. Generally considered magnitude of 8.0 or above. 8.0 or above. Generally, it is considered that if the Richter scale shows a value of 8.0 or above, then it means a highly destructive earthquake. It means a highly destructive earthquake, and it is capable of destroying the entire population. That means major destruction will be found if Richter scale shows values of 8.0 and above. Clear? So this is about Richter scale. This is how we can predict a little bit earthquake, and also we can calculate, or also we can measure the magnitude of earthquake, magnitude or intensity of earthquake. Now next is protection against earthquake. How we can protect against earthquake? Protection against earthquake. How we can protect ourselves against earthquake? Now see, earthquakes are very highly destructive. We all know that earthquakes are highly destructive and they cannot be easily predicted. So it is necessary that we take precautions to protect ourselves all the time. Now the question is how we can protect ourselves. So when if the people living in seismic zone, that means in highly seismic area where the chance of earthquake is maximum, then what are the steps that we can take to protect ourselves from earthquake? So protection taken if you are living in seismic zone. So protection taken by the people living in seismic zones. Seismic zones means the chance of earthquake is maximum there. So in that place, how you can take precautions, or how you can protect yourself from earthquake. So number one protection is that all the houses and other buildings in seismic zones should be designed and constructed in such a way that they can withstand those major earthquake tremors. The buildings and houses and apartments, all those should be designed and constructed in a very well built manner, so that they can withstand the earthquake tremors or major earthquake waves. So first point would be the construction and designs of buildings should be properly built. So first point is houses, buildings, all the apartments should be constructed and well designed, so that they can withstand major earthquake tremors. That is the first point, or first protection taken by the people living in seismic zones. Seismic zones means highly high prone area that earthquake can occur there. Number two protection will be in a highly seismic areas or highly seismic zones, the use of mud and wood for building houses is better. That means mud and similar kind of thing like wood for building houses is better than using heavy construction materials. So you will use timber or wood or mud for the building of houses. The roof of the houses also should be kept as light as possible. The roof should be also as light as possible, because if roof falls down during an earthquake, the damage will not be too much. So the roof should also be lightweight. So the second point will be the use of mud and timber. Timber means wood for the building materials. That should be used in seismic zone, highly seismic zone areas. So second point will be the use of mud and timber means wood for building materials, for building materials rather than heavily constructed materials. And the roof of the houses also should be kept as light as possible. Also, roofs of the houses should be kept as light as possible, because if roof falls during an earthquake, the damage will not be so much, the damage will be minimum. For that cause, roof should be kept as light as possible. Number 3 precaution will be all the buildings should have firefighting equipments in properly order. Firefighting equipment should be there. So third point will be all the buildings living in seismic zones, all the buildings should have firefighting equipments. Firefighting equipments in properly working condition. In properly working condition. In properly working condition. Number 4 precautions. The objects such as heavy mirrors or photo frames or wall clocks or maybe water heaters, they should be mounted securely in the wall, because they do not fall in the event of earthquake. Because if they fall during an earthquake, there should be a heavy damage. Therefore, all those equipments like heavy mirrors, photo frames, wall clocks, the heavy element like water heater, they should be mounted very securely or mounted very carefully on the wall at that place. Because if they fall on people, the chances of damage is being maximum. Therefore, they should be properly mounted. So all these are precautions people can take if they are living in seismic zones. Clear? Now, if the people are living at home, that means if they are not in seismic zones, only if they are in home, so what precautions they should take? So protection taken by the people living in home or in their houses. So what are the protections they can take? First protection they can take is that they should take shelter under a study table or a kitchen counter like that, and stay there till the shaking of the earthquake stops. Also, we should cover our head with hands. So that is the precaution. So we should take shelter. You can take shelter under a study table or under a bed or under a kitchen counter, and stay there till the shaking of earthquake stops. Also, you should cover your head with your hands. That is the first precautions or first protection you can take. That means we have to shelter ourselves. We have to shelter ourselves, and also we will cover our head with hands. That is the first protection. Number two protection is that we should also stay away from heavy objects, from heavy and tall objects like almirah, refrigerator, bookshelf. So we should stay away from all these tall and heavy objects. So if they fall, the damage should be minimum. So we should stay away from all these heavy and tall objects. So second precaution is that we should stay away from tall and heavy objects. Next protection we can take if we are living in home is that we should stay away from glass window. So if they broke during an earthquake for vibration, we can be safe distance. That means we should stay away from the glass window, because in earthquake, during earthquake, for the vibration of earthquake, the glass window may broke, and if we are close to glass window, we can damage to ourselves. That means we should stay away from glass windows. So third precaution is that we should stay away from glass windows. So these are the protections we should take if we are living in home. Now what is the condition if we are living in outdoors? Suppose we are at outdoors, so what are the precautions we can take? So third criteria is protection taken by the people living, protection taken by the people if they are outdoors. If they are outdoors, that means they are not in home. So what are the precautions they can take? So number one precaution or protection is we should stay away at a clear spot. We should stay at a clear spot. That means we should stay away from buildings, from trees, and suppose overhead power lines. We should avoid all those places. We should stay at a clear spot, and also we should sit on the ground so that chances of being hit is minimum. That means we should stay away. We should stay away from tall buildings, trees, overhead power lines, and we should stay at a clear spot. We should stay at a clear spot. That is the first precaution we can take if we are living in outside. Clear? Second precaution will be that suppose if you are driving a car, or if you are in a bus, at that moment you should not come out of the car, or you should not come out from the bus. And if you are driving a car, the car should be driven slowly, and you will drive the car to a clear spot, that is away from buildings, away from trees, away from overhead electric lines, and should stay in the car till the earthquake stops. That is the second protection you can take for yourself. That means if you are driving a car, if you are in a bus, the first thing is that you should not come out of the car, or you should not come out from the bus. If you are driving a car, you should drive the car slowly to a clear spot away from the apartments, away from buildings, and should stay there till the earthquake stops. So that is the two protection you can take if you are living outside during an earthquake. Clear? So there are three criteria of protection. First one was that if you are living in a seismic zone. Second criteria was that if you are in home during an earthquake, and the last criteria is that if you are living in outside, that means you are not living in indoor, you are outside when earthquake is there. So that is the three criteria you can take for yourselves for protection. Next, last topic of this chapter is that what are the safety protections you can take after earthquake? What are the safety protections? Safety protections you can take after earthquake. What are the safety protections you can take after earthquake? Now, earthquakes are highly destructive, and major destruction will be there if there is a severe earthquake. So therefore we need to protect ourselves for earthquake. So what are the safety protections after earthquake? So now after earthquake, just carefully inspect the utilities, or carefully inspect the places, the damaged places. Carefully inspect or carefully check the places or where the maximum damage is there. So first point will be careful inspection. First point under safety protection. Second point will be, if there are injured persons, help those injured persons. That is the second safety protection. Help them with medical equipment, take them to a hospital nearby. That is the second protection you can take. So second protection will be help the injured persons. Help the injured persons. Third safety protection will be stay away from the damaged area. Just carefully inspect those places and stay away from the damaged area. Don't roam around those damaged places. Clear? So third point will be stay away from damaged areas. Stay away from damaged areas. So these are the safety protections you can take during after the earthquake. Clear? So these are the safety protections you can take after earthquake. So that's it, and the topic is complete, and these are the topics in your earthquake chapter. All the topics are covered, and this chapter is complete. In the next session we will start a new fresh chapter. Thank you.